Good morning, I hope you're having an absolute fantastic day. It is currently 20 past 8 on the 22nd of January 2018. I actually have my coffee here. I'm drinking a Colombian from Triple Co Roast. It's the Colombia El Paraiso, I believe it's called. I don't know if it's still for sale or not. It's a very summer fruity coffee. It's a juicy body, lots of strawberry, and it's a honey processed coffee, so it's really sweet. It's got lots of caramel and strawberry and blackcurrant notes as well. I equate it to drinking like a summer fruits flavor Ribena. It's really strong in that sense, but it's a very nice coffee. And I've now finished exams, so I'm free. No, I'm not free. I still have university. We start today actually. Today's the first day of teaching block 2, and it's going to be quite a busy-ish day. It's all intros and stuff, so we're not going to be learning that much new content. It's more, here's what you're going to do for the next, two or 3 months. And today we actually get an intro to our research project and what we have to actually do in our 3rd year as our dissertation. So I'm actually really excited to find out about all that stuff. Anyway, now that I've actually finished exams, I'm not studying 6 hours a day and doing revision, so that's actually opened me up to doing actual reading. I've said that this year I'm going to read 30 books, and last year I read 25, even though a lot of them were shorter stories, and I was really pushed for it, but I'm going to try a lot harder this year to read 30. I say I'm going to try and read a lot more. Here's my habit tracker in my bullet journal. The top one there is read. I've read twice this year, so I've read a total of 100 pages. Because I've been just revising and doing work, I just haven't found the time. I've been actually busy doing stuff. Now I've really got to catch up. I believe on my Goodreads, if you don't follow me on Goodreads, it's just my name. On my Goodreads, I believe I'm 2 books behind already, which isn't great. But I just thought I'd go through some of the books that I've got ready to read, and books that I'm looking forward to reading hopefully quite soon. So the first book I've got is the book which I have already started to read and I'm 100 pages in, is Jar City by Arnaldur Indridason. Icelandic. I'm not too sure how to properly pronounce his name, but it's an Icelandic name. You'll see the kind of books that I'm into, but this one is a murder mystery. A man's found with a note, and it's basically the story of a detective just going and interviewing loads of different people. It is fiction. I'm more of a fan of fiction, even though this year I'm going to try and get into a lot of non-fiction as well, because I read pretty much, it was like 95% fiction last year, so I'm going to try and get into some non-fiction this year. But this is part of a series, but as far as I can tell, it's just separate books, like separate stories. It's an anthology, I guess. I'm assuming all following the same detective, or it's the same city. I think Reykjavik, or however you say that, is the city maybe. But yeah, this is a really good book so far. It's a really easy read. It's 300 pages long, but the font size is quite large and the prose is quite fluid. So it's a really easy read. I can sit down and just read it. So hopefully I'm going to try and do that tomorrow, is just sit down and try and finish this actually. Next up, some of you might know that I've been reading the Dorothy Must Die series. The next book I've got is the second book in the actual main series. This is, again, I'm looking forward to continuing the story because it's, again, such an easy read. It's really just fascinating and it's a good story, and I'm learning quite quickly that I don't actually know how to talk about books. I've never been a big reader. With that comes not being able to actually fully describe how a book reads and what it's like, especially if I haven't actually started it. So, I don't know why I'm making this video, but you know. Next up I have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is, again, another murder mystery. A girl is on a train every morning and sees something happen, and she turns out to be one of the only witnesses. And then from from what I believe, she then becomes a suspect, I think. I don't actually know. But this is 410 pages long, so it's a bit longer than what I'm used to. I'm normally a 300-page kind of person, so I can normally bash out a book in about a week. This is going to take me a bit longer than a week, but hopefully I can still hit that 300 mark. There is a film about this book. I haven't actually seen it. I'm going to wait until I've read the book before I watch it. From what I can tell, it didn't get great reviews, but I mean, it's still worth watching sometimes, isn't it? Then I have The Doll's House by Tanya Carver. This is, again, another murder mystery. A guy walks in and finds this basically abandoned house, but in this house is a doll, and it turns out to be just a human body, but it's been like perfectly like sculpted and modelled in this house. It is an abandoned house, but it's like a perfectly set up like you would a doll's house. Someone's basically made a doll's house, hence the name. So this is, again, a murder mystery. Like, it's just what I like. I like murder mysteries because they're gripping. They're really basically the definition of a page turner, where you finish a page and you're just like, I need to know what happens next. One of my favourite books last year was A Girl with a Clock for a Heart, and that was, I don't think it was a murder mystery. It might have been a murder mystery, actually. I can't remember. I read it really early on. But it was that kind of like crime genre where something new is going to happen every chapter, and it always ends on a cliffhanger, so you just have to keep reading. And that's why I like the crime genre, personally. And the last book I have today, in actual like book paperback form, is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is in horrendous condition, but it costs 20p. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain. The inside is actually still perfectly fine. So I think normally you get like a cellophane kind of like finish on the book, whereas it looks like this has just been taken off, so it's literally just paper. Like, there's no protector on it. But I mean, the inside's still fine, so who really cares? This is probably the longest book I will have ever read, if I actually end up reading it all. This is almost 500 pages long. Pretty bulky. Normally big books, I guess, intimidate me. I feel like I'm making no progress when I'm like 100 pages in and it's still just like a tiny fraction of the book. That kind of like, when I'm making no progress through a book, it kind of just puts a dampener on my willingness to read. Like, it doesn't make me want to read. But hopefully, again, another murder mystery. Hopefully it should be. I guess it's not a murder mystery, it's a kidnapping mystery. If you haven't seen the film for Gone Girl, by the way, absolutely amazing film. I've seen it twice now. I watched it once on my own and once with my flat. The first time I actually watched it, I missed the big scene towards the end, the quite gruesome scene. Like, I looked down for a second, looked back up, and there was just blood everywhere. I'm like, what happened? Spoiler alert, there's blood at the end. But yeah, like, this is a fantastic film. It stars people that I don't know and Neil Patrick Harris. Like, the main characters are people I don't know. I can't remember, but amazing acting, amazing story, and it's just beautifully shot. I can't remember the director. I believe it is... I'm gonna have to Google it. I should know this. I'm gonna feel so stupid in a second. David Fincher. Yep. David Fincher. I should have known that because David Fincher is like, he's got this stereotypical like dialogue, the way he shoots dialogue and stuff. David Fincher's great. I believe he directed the first 2 episodes of the Mindhunter series on Netflix. If you haven't seen David Fincher's movies, if you haven't seen Gone Girl, just watch them. So they're all the books that I actually have to read so far, and I've said until I've finished them, I'm not allowed to read Elon Musk's biography, which is killing me because if those of you don't know, I'm obsessed with Elon Musk. Like, I would have to say anyone's my idol, I would say it's him. His just work ethic and outlook on life is just insanely like optimistic and forward thinking. The way he's driving the technology around space travel, he's made it infinitely cheaper to go to space, and that's just insane. He friggin' landed a rocket. Like, one of the big things with space travel was the expense of going to space and just scrapping this rocket. I believe it was one of the space shuttles could return. It still just wasn't cost effective. But he has literally made rockets that just will land on their spot, ready for the next takeoff. Like, it's mad how much he's like influenced space travel just with one of his companies. He's then got what else has he got? Tesla, obviously driving the electric car market and making cars that are semi-affordable, and he's still improving that technology. There's the Boring Company making tunnels under LA and making travel on roads specifically more like free, like less traffic and stuff. There's that. Automation in Tesla as well. What other companies you got? SpaceX, Tesla, Boring Company, Hyperloop. So Hyperloop is his project at the SpaceX Center in LA, where he's driving new upcoming university engineers to build crafts, I guess, pods to travel in this Hyperloop. And this is basically just a vacuum tube system. It's going to pair, I'm assuming, with the Boring Company to like just make supersonic travel possible. Like all of his plans, especially like for the plans on landing on and colonizing Mars, are just insane and so forward thinking. And it's actually like, it's stuff that we might be able to achieve, and he's currently achieving, and it's going to happen in our lifetimes, and it's all basically because of him. So I've gone on too much about him. I really want to read his biography and see like where this work ethic came from. Also, he invented PayPal. Everyone uses PayPal. It's insane. So I want to read his biography, and I've said to myself that I can't read it until I finish these. So I'm really determined to get through these books. I've got We Are Our Brains by Dick Swab. Yeah, bad name. I would have hated to be him when I was growing up. That's another non-fiction book recommended to me by a good friend who is a massive reader. I hate her for it. She reads so many books. I believe she's already, last time I checked, which was a few weeks ago, just as I was starting exams, I hadn't read any pages and she had read 8 books already this year. It's just, But she recommended this book to me. It's supposed to be a good look on psychology and stuff like that. I'm not really too sure, but it's supposed to be really good. So I think that's a good end to this video, and I've gone through all my books and an update on what I'm doing. I'm going to start university. Now time to edit this video. Hopefully get... The irony of making this video at this time is that this would when I would... The irony of making this video at this time is that this is the time that I would normally be reading. So I'm making a video on what I want to be reading and that I'm going to be reading more, and that's actually delaying me reading. Yeah, that's quite ironic. Anyway, P.S. Call me Cameron.